All right. Good evening once again. You're welcome to Digitech's Zeal. This is cyber security section. Can somebody recall or remind us where exactly we stopped last time, just to know if we actually learned one or two things from that class? Can somebody summarize what we discussed? Anybody?
We talked about the Windows Defender antivirus, and we ended the
Okay.
class with a Windows firewall.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chris, is there anything you have to add to that? Though you actually summarize it, you can give us anything different from what you just explained. Mr. Chris, do you have anything to add to what he said that we discussed last time? Okay, so we have, remember I listed out a couple of topics. That's the main topic was Windows security features. And I listed out a couple of them. And remember in that meeting, I had to focus on Windows Defender, which we refer to as the inbuilt Microsoft Windows antivirus. From the previous lesson, we talked about malware, where we mentioned a virus, which is very dangerous to exist in our system. So there's every need for us to apprehend it or to prevent it from gaining access to our systems. So in this session, I'm going to continue with our Windows security feature. So we take the next one. We are done with Windows Defender. So we are going to look at Windows Firewall. Windows Firewall. Remember I told us that most time experts can use these two terms interchangeably. But if you look at it critically, you should be able to know that there is a thin line separating them based on the security purpose. So let's look at Windows Firewall. Windows Firewall. Let's look at that, Windows Firewall. So how do we define Windows Firewall? As one of the major feature or one of the major security feature within our Microsoft operating system. So we are looking at, let me write it for the sake of those that have been making notes. Cyber security. So we are looking at Windows security features. Windows security features. And under this topic, so far so good, we have covered the very first one, which is the Windows Defender. And I said in this section, we shall be focusing on, I think, the second one on the list. I'm very sure that should be the second one on the list, which is Windows Firewall. Windows Firewall. So how do we define Windows Firewall? What is Windows Firewall? So Windows Firewall is a network security system that monitors and control incoming and outgoing traffic. So let me see if I can quickly write it here for us to understand. Okay, so I said Windows Firewall is a network security system. It's a network security system that monitor, that is the keyword, that monitor. So what does it monitor? Incoming and outgoing traffic, based on security rules. So this is very important. So it's based on the set or program security rules. So, and that is why it is important for us to understand how to exploit. So I will know how to set it in a way that it can actually protect your network. We're talking about you accessing stuff from network like websites. So each time you are downloading stuff from websites and other network platforms, there is this particular feature that takes care of the security guarantee of that particular content you are exploring. So we just have to know that this feature focuses on the network security of our system. So everything that is coming into your system or going out of your system, this particular firewall feature understand or scan it to check if there are threats. And once it detects such threats, it's going to block it based on the set rules. So you can decide to program it that it should alert you, it should notify you before it blocks it, or it should just go ahead and block it without any form of notification. That is the meaning of what? Based on the security what? Set rules. So what exactly does it prevent the system from? So it prevents unauthorized access to your computer. So that is one of the major functions of this feature. And this feature is very important that you turn it on, because it just like the backbone or the window main security architecture, just like the gatekeeper, right? So it checks whatever that is coming in and whatever that is going out. So what it does is that if anything is caught, for example, you are trying to download stuff from a website, so it's going to assess the authenticity. It's going to verify the vendor who published that content. It's going to check it. Then, by the time it sends signal to the appropriate authority and it could not get a reply, not because probably that particular content you are downloading is not from the right source. then it will assume that it's a threat to the system. So it will automatically what? Block it. So, but like I said the other time, in a situation where you are 100% sure that it's not a threat, then you can now what? Turn it on. That is why it is important we know how to manage these key security features within our Windows. So if there is any issue of turning them on, turning them off, number one, you know how to handle that. Number two, you know the implication of turning them off. It's very important. All right, I hope I'm communicating. Can I get a response before I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's quickly look at how to enable the Windows firewall. Supposing you are given a system and you are not sure whether the firewall is active. Now that you understand that is one of the major security features within the window. So how do you even get to where it is? And let's say your mission is to locate it and turn it on. That is the next step. So the first thing you need to do, or the first step, is to click on Start button. So from the Start button, we are going to type firewall. That is a kind of shortcut, right? So I can just type firewall. Let me type it in lowercase. Firewall. So once you type firewall, you are going to see it attached to what? Window Defender Firewall. All right, now if I click on it, let's see the interface is going to prompt. Now, if I followed through that server security, or let's say a Windows security main feature under which we exploit that scan command the other time, you will not get it to this call route like this. And that is why I recommend you searching it out so that you can get to this place. Because there are a lot of analysis you can actually perform on this environment. So this is just like the bulb in your house. They all have their respective button for turning them off and on, right? I hope you are following. The bulb, the electronic bulb that you have in your house.
Yes, sir.
They have a button where you can turn them off directly. But you know that there is a switch, a kind of changeover, that when you turn it off, you have automatically turned off all the bulb. I hope you are getting it. So that
Yes,
is
sir.
exactly what I'm saying. So if you come here, it's as good as you are turning the whole package off. So this is just like the control, the switch. But if you go through where we got that threat analysis or Windows security, under which we analyze in the history of prevented threats and others, if you go through that channel, if you are able to see it, it will come to this place. It will not give you an option where you can turn things off individually. But if you come here, it's a kind of total shutdown. And when you get here, you can see the breakdown that is given here. Now, we need to understand types of network, though we are still going to discuss that when we get to penetration testing or ethical hacking properly. But for now, you need to know that, I think I mentioned it in our last session, that we have two types of what? Network. It's either a network is a public network or it is a private network. And because we have public network and private network, that brought about having two IP address. So there is possibility of you having a public IP address, and there is also a possibility of you having private IP address. All right. So a public IP address is a unique identity that is used to identify that system whenever it is on that what internet, this public. Then when that computer is connected to intranet, which is a kind of private network, then it automatically generates a private what IP address. So when we get there, we will now know how to identify what IP address from what, because there's a way the code arrangement will be that will tell you this is IP address, this is a public, or this is private. Now I just have to give that little explanation for us to understand what is going to happen here. You can see here it says what? Private what? Network. Private network. So let me expand here. Now, it's giving us the network that is active. This is the Wi-Fi that I'm using. And then if you check incoming connections, it block all connection to apps that are not on the list of allowed apps. If you look at your mobile phone, if you try to use one of the mobile phone feature, for example, you want to use the camera, maybe you want to on all these fintech apps like OP, and they will always ask for the permission of the camera. So now, if you have not set it under allowed app, in other words, these are the apps that are permitted. The app will tell you that you need to allow this particular device for it to be used. So what we are saying here is that any connection, any app that are not on the list of allowed apps, if you try to access it, then you are saying that you should block it. So this is one of the set rule we are talking about. That is for incoming. But let's go to where we can actually manage it fully. So if you go to turn Windows Defender Firewall off or on, you will now see where the two networks that I mentioned are simplified. You can see the whole of this section is talking about monitoring private network, while the whole of this is talking about monitoring public network. And you can see based on the set rules, if you check here now, look at what you said. You say, notify me when Windows Defender Firewall block a new app. Supposing you put it here, which means you are saying that block all incoming connection, including those in the list of what? Allowed app. So based on the way you want to ensure the security of your system, you can decide to lock up all this when you know that you are not doing anything outside. You are not, maybe you are working within the system and you want to lock the door totally from anything that is coming from outside. It has its own implication, but it's just like you are ensuring total security. I hope we are following. Can I get a response, please?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
following.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as a cybersecurity expert, you should know when to turn on this. So most time, we prefer this one. So if you program it on this one, it means you have to pay attention to notification, because there are some computer users that will not even pay attention to notification without knowing that you program it that always alerts me. Then I will not access what is coming to know whether I will permit it. So that is for that option. Now, you can decide to say that anything concerning private, incoming connection should be turned off. So if you click here, you turn it off. So this is what we do sometimes. This is what some technicians does when they want to install an app that the Windows security feature is blocking. They will just come here and temporarily turn this off. for a short period of time. Then once they have deposited whatever they want to do, then some of them will forget to come here and turn it on, which means they have exposed the system to attack. Because the intruders, the black hat hackers, if it is programmed like this and they want to hack your system through private network, it means we are saying that any connection that is coming through private should not be checked. It means you just open the door. So you can see the risks of not programming all these things. And if you go around, you see a lot of computer users that are using their computer and they are on the internet, and some of these things are not properly set. And then the bad guys take advantage of that. And like I was trying to explain to us the other time, why you must avoid spyware, malware, Trojan, virus, is that all these things can be sent into your system to compromise, to come here and turn this off. Somebody may want to hack your laptop or your system, but this is programmed on this, for example. So it's not getting access. So what he is going to do is to, okay, let me send a malware into that laptop, and that malware will be given an assignment. And what is the assignment? Is to come here and help him or her to turn it off like this. And when that happens, then you will not be able to what? To break through. So these are the reasons why you have to program it in a way that there should be a notification. So whenever anybody trying to come in, it notifies you, and then you assess what is coming in. If you are not in good term with it, you block it. So professionally, if you are securing a system or no account, it should be programmed here. Always make sure that you turn it on, then you can decide whether to notify you or to even perform the two, notify you, but also block all incoming. But the best professional practice is that set this one, leave this one. In as much as it's going to notify you, you will not be able to access and know whether to grant it access or not. Now let's come to the public network, the same features. So this one control anything private network, while this one controls public network. Now, if you know that you are always on the internet downloading stuff, always make sure that this is turned on. Because once you start downloading and this is not properly set, then there's going to be a problem. That means you have exposed that system as an attack. So I hope we understand this. So this is how to set up your Windows Firewall. Any question before we go to the next topic? Any question?
No question, sir.
Okay. Mr. Joshua, hope all is clear also.
Yeah, sounds clear.
Okay. So now, let's look at another feature, another security feature. This one is also very important. Let's look at what we call user account control. User account control, which is usually abbreviated to UAC. So this is, let's look at the definition. Let me take the definition. So the UAC is a Windows security. It's a Windows security feature that prevents unauthorized changes. So you see the focus now. Unauthorized, not, okay, let me correct my reference. Unauthorized changes. Let me complete it so you know how important this is to the operating system. By asking, we break it so you can see everything. By asking for permission, for action that require administrator privilege. Why? That requires administrator what? Privilege. Right. So it's a Windows security feature that prevents unauthorized changes to the operating system by asking for permission before action that requires administrator privileges. Now, after this topic, we are going to look at probably how to set up the kind of security measures by assigning accounts to individuals as a way of checkmating what happened within the system and who should be held responsible. Right? Now, which means that we have just to dive into it a little so that we'll get the picture why I use administrator. Now, in your system, there can be two basic accounts. So material will tell you three. There can be or there could be two basic accounts. And these two accounts have different control or privileges. We have what we call the standard account, which is also known as the user account. So that account, the people under that account cannot change the core system settings. They will be limited. For example, they cannot uninstall app. You cannot give them your system and grant them access through your standard account, and then for them to be able to delete anything from your system concerning app or change the core setting of the system. The system will always prompt to them to take permission from the administrator account. So the administrator account is the one that have 100% of full control over the system. All right. So this same control is what we can refer to as the privileges. Now, what this one does is that it's talking about if you give your system to someone and somebody tried to make some changes, or somebody probably sent or tried to break into your system, if you have programmed this feature properly, nobody can send those kind of stuff and then being able to change things without asking for your permission. That is what the user account control. So it focuses on restricting people from changing things, or whenever anybody tries to change anything, you will be notified. So let's quickly look at why do we actually have it. It prevents or it protects the system from malware and accidental changes. That is a core reason. So that you will not know why you should ensure that this is set properly, like we are going to do in a moment. So let me take that core reason why we should consider this very important. I said it protects the system from malware. Thank God that we have already know what is called malware. And accidental changes. So how do we configure the UAC? There are many ways you can actually configure it, but the fastest one is for you to come here and just type what? UAC. Once you type UAC, you will see what? Change user account control settings. So once you click on it, you see where it's programmed. Can you see this is where you control it? Look at where we met it now. And it say what? Where it is now, what? Do not notify me when I make changes to Windows setting. And that is why you may not get some notification if somebody try to install something that or trying to change some setting like we were doing the other time. Now look at where they recommended it should be. Recommended if you use familiar apps and visit familiar websites, then this one is recommended. Look at the one here. Notify me only when I've tried to make changes to my computer default, which means that by default, it should have been programmed there. Now, this is where you control it, take it off. Now, as soon as I took it off, what happened? Always notify me when, number one, I've tried to install software or make changes to my computer. I make changes to the Windows setting. So I want to ask us, don't you think you should put it here? I need to ensure certain security. So this is the best. Now, if you bring for every stage, we have about different 4 controls. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I bring it here now, you see what it's presenting to me. If you bring it here, look at this. Notify me only when I try to make changes. Do not notify me when I make changes. If I bring it here, look at it here. The list, which means what? Never notify. There are some persons that are using their computer in their offices, and probably one engineer that tried to install things, because there are times when you try to install some application, this will prevent them if it is programmed properly. Maybe to like this, always notify me. So each time you try to install something to block it, to tell you cannot take permission, that you have to take permission before you. And the permission is for you to come here and take it down or reset it up. I hope that is clear. So it's very simple to manage. Let me get to respond before we look at the next thing. Are we together? Hello? I hope you can hear me. Yes, I'm asking if we are good with this one before we move to the next one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I hope we are also trying the same from our end. Please, all this, make sure you are following up with the practical as well. So that,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now, the next one we have here is what we call BitLocker. So BitLocker is a class on its own, but let me see how I can complete it. I think we see how, which means we are going to close with the BitLocker. So it's a class on its own because one, we have to learn some other things alongside with it. So BitLocker is okay. Let me go back to this. So we are looking at BitLocker. BitLocker. We are looking at BitLocker. Drive encryption. Drive what? Encryption. So how do we define BitLocker? So BitLocker is a window security feature. It's a Windows security feature that encrypts. The word encrypt means to lock or to, let's say, to cipher. Encrypts your entire, depending on entire hard drive to protect, break it, to protect data. So you can see the focus of this one is what? Data protection, data that you have in a drive. That's your electronic data story from unauthorized access if the device is lost or stolen. So just for you to know how strong it is, even if somebody removed the drive from your laptop, in as much you BitLock it to another system thinking that he can open it. Once the person connected to any data reader, it will ask for that password. You have to know how strong it is. So it's actually a new introduced security feature just to ensure that the data you have in a drive can be what? Locked or protected from, intruders. You can't find it any window less than Windows 10 Pro. If you are running Windows 8, you will not be able to BitLock. If you are running Windows 7, you are not going to be able to BitLock. So BitLock or BitLocker is an introduced technology within the window from Windows 10 Pro. So let's take note of that so that you will not come across someone's system using Windows 8 or any window lower than Windows 10 Pro, and then you are busy looking for it. It's not going to work. You're not going to see it there. Right? So now that we understand this is why I said it's going to go beyond. For now, I'm going to suspend this and do something and then come back to it, because this is how you are supposed to work as a cyber security expert. You are coming into the company and the company have their sensitive data stored in their drive like this. And the total volume is 200. I think the total volume should be about 500 gigabytes. And as you can see here, the free space or the space used, we have just 58. We have just 58 free space out of what? 267 gigabytes. So the question is this, and as you are coming in, both the company important information that they cannot afford to be hacked or lose, all of them are inside here. So as soon as you come in as a cyber security expert, you do something immediately. You partition this particular drive such that you compress all the used volume to one side, then so that you can have free space. And out of that free space, you will now carve out a backup. Remember in the other class, so this is the backup now. I'm just using one stone to kill two birds, because backup is a security measure also. So that if anything happens to one, you will not go to You're not going to be worried. Now, the idea I'm bringing out here is that you will compress everything to one side, and then you will now save space. Then from that space, we will now what? Partition out a volume, unallocated what? Volume. Then you will now allocate it. Now, that process, it is called drive partitioning, which we are going to look at now. It is called what? Drive partitioning. So now, as you can see here, you are seeing two different what? Drive. That doesn't mean that I have two physical what? Hard drive in this system. What it simply means is, it means that one is the physical drive, while the other one is a virtual what? Drive. Because once you remove that one physical drive, you are not going to find this again. So what I'm about to teach us now is what I did to have this partition that I name what? New volume. So out of this space, that's why you see that it's short. Out of this space, I partition this out, and I'm using it to save only my important information within the system. But it is not BitLocker, because the idea is that you are expected to know how to carve a space, and then that space you are carving, that is where you want to store the company what? Important information. Then you will now padlock it. That is the idea. Because you shouldn't come here, the implication of you padlocking the entire drive is that anybody that wants to use the system will have access to the login before they can exploit things from the drive. So it's no longer secure. But if I'm able to take some space out and I lock it and I keep only admin data inside, it means that what? To an extent, they can be using the other one, but whenever I want to access what I have in that particular drive, I need to enter what? The password. I hope it's clear. Let me get a response.
Not clear.
Hmm?
I said don't talk already.
Hello?
It's not clear.
Okay, so which aspects of it that you need further explanation?
Talking about splitting. Don't understand that part.
Yes. No, I have not split it. I'm just trying to explain what I want to do. Are you with me? You know, I met this one
Okay.
here. We have not done the practical, if that is what you are talking about. I have already done this particular one before now. So I'm just going to do another one so that it will become three. Well, I was really trying to give us a picture and the necessity. Why will you, as a cybersecurity expert, when you are given a system, why will you partition before you BitLock? Because if you rush to BitLock the entire drive, the implication is that anybody that wants to use the system, you must provide the password for him or her to be able to exploit the content in that particular drive. I hope you understand what I'm saying now, sir.
Okay, I get now.
I'm just trying to explain. I've not done the practical. Okay, so now that we understand that, we can now look at what is drive partitioning. So drive partitioning is simply dividing one physical drive into what? Virtual what? Images. Into virtual images. Or into what? Different what? Parts. That is what it is. So for example, I will not want to tamper with this because I have this already. So let's assume that I still have some space and I want to carve some space out to form another backup. Are we together? Mr. Chris, let me hear from you. I hope you are still here because I'm about going to the practical aspect. I want to make sure that You are here. Can Chris, can you hear me? Can Chris hear me, please? Okay, so let me assume that it's following. So now that we understand that, how do we create that backup? So let's say we want to do it here. Now, we just have to know the drive representative in terms of the letter. You can see that local drive is always represented with what? C. Then, if you have your A and B is for floppy, but you know we are no longer using floppy disks. That's why I start from C. Then D is usually allocated toward CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. But since we don't have it in this system, then any other drive you connect. For example, now, even I do not have this, now if I connect a flash drive now, it might take it. But now, since I'm having a partition, so that partition is taking what? D. So the one I'm going to create now is going to have its own what? Label as well. So now, this is not where you are supposed to start the whole process since you want to partition. So writing your partition step down, the first thing you are going to do, you are going to go to where you have all the disks being managed, which is called disk management. And how do you get there? You press Control, you click inside this particular box, or you can just press Control plus X, as in X like this. So the moment you press Control plus S, let's watch out to see what comes out. Let's say you are here, and then you press Control X. Sorry, I say Control, Window X. So if you look at your keyboard, there is okay, you see on your keyboard a key that carries this icon. Mr. Joshua, can you hear me? To make sure that you are following. You see good. So you see a key within your keyboard that carries this icon. That is the window key. So you hold down that button and press Enter X. Then it will display what? This information that we have here. So from here, this is where you are targeting. Good. So this is what you are targeting, disk management. So you click on this. So this is where you can actually manage all the disks connected to your system. And then you can see the list of all of them. And then you will not see the ones that are allocated and the ones that are not what? Allocated. Now, that is why I said you need to identify which one you want to what? Which one do you want to which one do you want to partition? You need to know it. You can see drive C, you can see disk 0, partition 1, disk 2, partition 1, and then what? Which other one again? New volume. So these are the two that are available, those two that we saw there. Now, there is something I'm going to explain here, and you can see the breakdown of their free space in terms of megabyte, in terms of the total storage, in terms of their status, whether they are healthy or they are not healthy. So this is actually an environment that is interesting to every cyber security, every window security expert to ensure, okay, what is happening. Now, from here, is either we partition, we take space from here, or we take space from here. Now, you must know their division here. So this is for what? That particular, if you want to take this is the space allocated to it, then this is drive C. Now, there is something that you need to also know. We have what we call a file allocated table, which is called FATS. And then we have NTFS, which means New Technology File System. And that is the technology that drives uses at the moment to what? To organize their file, which makes it what? Faster in terms of response. So we have just two of them, either FATS or what? NTFS. So you need to understand that. So this was the new technology. That is why today's drives respond very fast. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to right-click on that particular one where I want to take space from. Now, once you right-click there, the next thing, okay, let's say I want to go here. I want to take space from here. Once you right-click here, you will see these options. If you click on formats, it means you are erasing everything. So you can see that you can even come here and format what? A drive. Now, you can, if you click here, it means you are deleting it. And once you delete it, it will expand into the what? The next one, which means that the space that was allocated before will automatically switch.
Excuse me, my format here is highlighted.
It's an item.
It's highlighted.
Okay.
Like you can't click it.
Okay, so so which means based on the way the window is configuring it, but we are not formatting, so don't bother yourself with that. Now this is where I'm going.
Okay.
This is where I'm going, string. Remember I said before you take space from an existing drive that they have been storing things, and you want to take space from there to partition and BitLocker, you have to first of all what? String. That string means you compress everything to one side so that the space you are taking will not cut any file. So we click on this option. And then once you click on that option, it's going to analyze it and present to you the space you can take. And that is what you are seeing on the screen, telling us that total size before string was this. Now, after stringing, what do you now have? Size available. That is what out of this, you can only partition, you can only take this space. So you cannot decide whether you want to take the whole space or you still want to leave some space for the other, as in, you want to leave some space here. So I can decide to say, okay, I'm not taking everything. I just want to take 10,000. So we put it in 1,000. Let's say I want to take what? Just what? 10,000. Now, after that, total size after shrinking, which is what? This as well. Now, you cannot shrink a volume beyond the point where any unmovable file are located. Say the defragmentation, that is this breakdown you are seeing here. That's what they are trying to see. This is just like a kind of a guide that even as you want to proceed, you should know that there's a limit to you cannot string beyond where you have file. That's what to say. So I will click on this and see if this value of space is stringable. Then you hold on for it. So what is happening right now is pushing everything to one side in order to give you that space that you specify. I hope you are still following. It's like Chris is not in. So give it time. So let's wait until that process is complete. And make sure while you're doing this, you do not click anyhow, because there's a way you click now, it will just shut down your system. Let me know if you are trying it over there as well. Are you trying it? Okay, so you can see that this is the space that we took now, and it's currently telling us that what? It is what? Unallocated. So which means that if you leave here and come back here, you won't find it here yet, because you have only partitioned it. You have not what? Assigned it to what? A location. So now what we are going to do now is this. And you can even see that the color is different. All these ones, they are already what? Allocated. So the next thing you are going to do now, you are going to right click on it, and then you now select what? New simple volume. So this is how you now want to what? Allocate it. Please, I needed to hear from one of you if I continue to know whether you are still here. Please, or Joshua.
Yes, we are on.
Good. Okay, good. So now, once that process is completed and you are able to see it here, and then you right click and then you click. Now, this wizard now, this is just like you are formatting it. You are initializing it so that it can be visible within the operating system for you to use. So you click on next, then this is the space you specify, and then you click on next. Now you choose the letter, just like the way we have that C, that D. So I can say, okay, there is no drive already using E. All right, so you can click here to use any letter you want to use. I can say, okay, I want it to be labeled what? Drive G. And then you click on what? Next. And then you choose your file sorting or allocation method. Now I told you that we have FAT32 and NTFS. So make sure that it's on this. You see, that is why sometimes you buy some flash drive. You take note of this. When you are buying flash drive, make sure that you buy a flash drive that the technology is on NTFS. Those are the kind of flash drives. Some of them will just say 100 gig or 60 gig, 16 gig, but they are fat. By the time you copy a video on them, the video will be there. The next time you try to open it, it will have changed to what? To something else. Just because of what? The technology that is used to manage that file. So always make sure that, and then decide, I want to leave it there, and then you just click on next. Then you get the configuration of everything. Then you click what? And this now, what is it doing? It's formatting. Now you can see that what is successfully what? Formatted. Now what you have done now, is something that somebody can come to you that does not have money to buy a flash drive or external drive for backup. So the person will now ask you, can you do backup? You say yes. Then you charge the person, then this is what you are going to do. Because what some engineers that do not know this does is that they will tell the person that we have to format the system. So that, because during formatting, you can quickly what? Partition. So some of them don't know how to go through this process on an existing drive to partition without affecting or tampering with what has been saved in that drive. So for you, we have learned it now. Now, if you go back to here now, you can see that what is now visible. You know, it wasn't there before and it's empty. So you can now even come here now and say, okay, you want to what? Rename it. You have the privilege of renaming it. So I can say this is what? My backup. So if you are doing it for clients, always name it what? Backup. That is when they will now know that, oh, it is a backup. But you can say that what? You will need to provide what? Administrator. So what we will have done, we will have changed it over there because there was a place where we will have been able to what? To change it. And not only that, it's asking for what? The administrator what? Account. Let me see, because I know I should be able to remember and see. Let me see if I could not, then I can just proceed. So let me click and say, let it ask for the good. So I permitted it. I hope it's clear. So now you have what? Partition this. So I'm just looking at the BitLocker now. If I should bring it now, I don't think time will permit us to be able to finish it. So I'm thinking that we should just stop here at this partition. Everybody should get here so that the next class we can just BitLock it and then complete the other one before we move to that to another topic. But this that we have touched, they are very, very important, particularly this backup. So you should know how, because you can get to that office and tell you that I don't have money to buy backup. And by the time you check their space, you now discover that they have enough space. So since they have enough space in their drive, then like this one now, you shouldn't try to partition here because it's already small. And there are other things you want to do there. So in that case now, if this is the only partition that is remaining, then you have to recommend them getting external word drive. Any question? So I don't know if you are doing it alongside with me,
No.
Joshua. Have you gotten here? I wanted to find out, Joshua. Have you?
Yes.
Okay, can you share your screen? Let me see it. Let me just confirm that before we.
Hey, I'm using my phone.
Okay, but you are doing it on your laptop, right?
Yes, my system.
Okay, so are you saying that you have got through something like this also?
Maybe I will snap and put it.
Okay, I just snap and send you the group. Let me see it. Let me be sure.
I'll put it on the group here.
All right, so any question, please, any question? Please just write it down that our next meeting will start with the BitLocker, because now we have been able to learn how to partition and how to format the partition ready to be BitLock in the next class. Do we have any question? I don't think Chris is still here. Are we together? So please, let's practice all these things. Let's go through them. Let's keep exploring these Windows features that we have explained. It's very important. I was asking if there's any. Yeah, I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
I don't know if you can see me at all.
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you. But I can see your picture.
Okay. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I want to show you my own screen.
Okay. What you do now is you send a
This is my own now.
request. Okay, let me see.
Can you see my own system?
It came and went off. You can try sending again.
Hello.
I can't see it at the moment. I think it wanted to show. It blinked before.
Hello.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see it.
Can you see my,
Yes. I'm seeing it now.
can you see my
Okay.
system?
Yes. I'm seeing it.
Okay.
So,
Just like it's having a lock here.
okay. Good. Okay. Okay, that means you have already been locked. You have already added the lock.
Then
Okay.
no, the lock is just there. I saw the lock here.
And that means that is not the one you did, though. It's possible that they have done it before. You shouldn't do what I did now. They have that key. It is what we are going to do in the next class that will give us that key. So it's possible that that is not the one you partition. Maybe that one was this one. This particular was it there before this whole exercise?
So how can I reverse it?
Reverse which one? Okay, the partition.
How can I reverse?
Okay, okay. See what you do. Just stop sharing, and you can see my screen. So if I come back here now, let's say I want to take back this, but I will not want to take mine back now because I'm still going to use it to teach us the BitLocker in our next meeting. So let me just try it here. For example, if you right click on it, you are going to see this expand. Just that this one, it did not complete the process. I did not format it properly. But let me just see on this one that we have done. You can see that there are two things. It's either you delete the volume. If you delete the volume now, it will add the space to what? To the primary drive where you took it from. So you can use where expand is not available. Then what you do is that you use what? Delete. But remember that if you are deleting, make sure that you have file inside. You should have moved those files out. And so it's either you do another one or you delete. But I don't know if you check your own, if you can see expand. Expand can also merge it back to the primary storage where you carved it from. Are we together now? I don't know if you're able to see it there. Hello, are we together? Okay. Can you hear me, Joshua? Because I want to end the class. Or let me write down that the next class we are going to start from BitLocker. All right, so if you can hear me, good night then.